Hey everyone, today I'll be doing a review of Crying Is Not Enough. This game is a really weird game. I really love playing indie games, but this game is just such a low budget game to the point of this game is pretty much just shovelware. Um, so I saw this on like the Steam page and I thought, hey, this looks like an interesting game. I really like survival horror games, and like survival horror, it's gone through so many changes in the genre. And this one seemed like it was kind of like old fashioned, kind of like the old Silent Hill games and the old Resident Evil kind of games. And I thought, hey, this looks really interesting. Let me pick it up. And I bought it, downloaded it, and I started playing through it. And as soon as I started playing through it, I realized, oh shit, I made a big mistake. And well, I had to get my Steam refund because of how awful the game is. It's not like me to always criticize a game so badly. The thing is, with me, I like to find the good side of games. I think that, even sometimes, for example, in some of the shittiest games that you'll find, sometimes you'll see, oh, this shitty game has such an amazing soundtrack. Usually I'll be able to find at least one thing that's good about a certain game, even if like a game is really not to my liking. But this game is just, as I said before, it's like shovelware. It's like it's a really big stinker, pretty much. I can't say anything good about the game. And in this video, I'm pretty much going to tell you why you should not get this game, even if you're the most hardcore fan of Silent Hill, Resident Evil, even Alone in the Dark, all of the old survival horror like IPs. Even if you love this whole genre, I'm going to tell you why you should not be getting this game. I like to compare this game to the Steam mod that was available for purchase last year, called Hunt Down the Freeman. If you don't know about Hunt Down the Freeman, it was just like like they spent some money on the game, but it ended up being like a trash game. It was meant to be focused on an antagonist, like one of the Marines who was injured by the protagonist Gordon Freeman. And basically, Hunt Down the Freeman is very famous for being sold and being like an incomplete, really buggy mess. And this game is just like that. So this game, yeah, it is really buggy. I found myself falling through improper, how should I say it? I found myself falling through objects randomly, like the objects were not programmed to be solid. Regularly, I was able to just walk through these assets, these objects, all of that. I was just able to walk right through them. Sometimes I'd fall through a hole in the map, and then I would have to reload from the last checkpoint. The game doesn't really have, as far as I could tell, it didn't have any auto-saving, so you had to save manually at these, they look kind of like arcade machines. No, I actually like this little arcade game that was available for playing, and apparently if you score well enough, you can even get bonuses. And I'm like thinking to myself, maybe they should have sold this arcade game in this game as a standalone game. I would have had so much more fun just playing it like on my phone. But going back to this actual game, let's look at the title of the game for a second, because I want to make a pun. Crying is not enough, and yeah, crying was certainly not enough for me to express how dissatisfied with this game I was. You can tell that this game was made by foreign devs, and I don't like to make fun of people because English is a difficult language and all that, but I'm afraid that like this game, it has too many errors. It's not like a couple of simple grammatical errors. No, there's a lot of typos all over the place, blatant typos. Even when they made the script, because the game is voiced in English with some very bad voice acting, but the problem is that they made the script. You can tell like a foreign person made the script, and when they're like doing the voice acting, it's just really bad. Like naturally, when you're speaking to each other in English, you'll naturally use contractions, unless it's like a very exceptional case. Most of the time, yeah, we'll always say contractions. But I noticed in this game, I don't know, they weren't using contractions, and it sounded like very robotic, in addition to already having pretty bad voice actors. And I'm not one to criticize voice acting, but this is like a 90s kind of game. Like, this is like that level of bad voice acting. Like for example, like one of the characters thank God you are alive instead of thank God you're alive. You know what I'm saying? Like lots of bad mistakes, and they should have spent more effort like making a better script, and even just like not having typos all over the place. Cause I'm changing the graphics options even in the menus, and like there's typos there. Like they don't know how to spell certain words. It's really bad. Let's go back to the gameplay. Yeah, the plot is really bad. The weird thing is that I don't mind the graphics. I thought the graphics were okay. I didn't think the graphics were like super shitty. You know, this graphics looks like maybe PS2 or even like a PS3 kind of game. The problem is that the animations are shitty. So it's like, you know, the character models are not half bad looking, but when they move their mouth, it looks so creepy. Like if you've ever seen that meme video where a guy plays Heavy Rain and he adjusts the mouth movement to like 500% what it's supposed to be, and basically all the characters have they end up like making really like creepy faces, kind of like how a Joy's face in Yu-Gi-Oh, if you've seen that funny like face, like this is what this game is like. The mouth movement is just really badly done, and it's weird because it's like they had a budget for this game, but it was a little bit mismanaged. They should have made it a bit more simple, like everything, so that they wouldn't have to squeeze the budget so much. If they would just like, you know, if they were just smaller in the scope that they wanted, because the plot is just so weird. It's like, oh, I mean, do you really care about spoilers in this game? Anyways, I'm pretty much just gonna tell you what I saw so far, and I didn't beat the game, but I'll tell you what I saw so far. Basically, you visit someone in a hospital, you get into an airplane with, I don't know, your sick girlfriend's mom, I guess your mother-in-law, I guess. I don't know if the guy's married or not. And you get into a helicopter with her, you drive, I mean, you get flown somewhere, and like, it crashes, and then you just find yourself in a forest, and I guess you have to escape. And I spent like a couple hours trying to escape somewhere, and you know, it's just I didn't like the game. Um, yeah, you can use melee weapons, you can use guns. I got to the part where you get a shotgun. Um, I like that the game is unforgiving. It looks like they tried to make it like a game where you have to try to run away in certain instances, like the original few Resident Evil games. Like you couldn't shoot everything. Like the later games, you'd actually have to save your ammo for when you actually needed it. And maybe this game is kind of like that, but I really do feel like again, the level design, it's just not good. Like, I mean, there should be ammo, like, locations. There should be ammo in certain locations, yeah, and there should be health packs in certain locations, and it's really not plentiful at all. I do like that the game is very non-linear, and there's so many places you can explore, but at the same time, it is kind of difficult to find where you're gonna be going next, because after the few introductory cutscenes to the game, you don't really see much else. Like, you just plopped into the forest, and then you have to kind of just figure out where you have to be heading. And at least the other games in the survival horror will like, at least try to give you like a little bit of a hint where you should be going next, but this game really doesn't. But the problem is that this game is like it's a really low budget indie game, so it's like if you try exploring too much, you'll end up glitching the game out because it has so many bugs, and you'll end up falling through the map. So, you know, that adds an extra layer of complexity that I didn't really want to deal with. But all I can really say is that this game is just so shitty. Even Hunt Down the Freeman wasn't that bad. I was able to figure out a way to like actually go through the whole game and beat that game. But this game, it's like, what were they trying to do? And the weird thing is that, yeah, they looked like they had some budget. It's just that it wasn't allocated very evenly. And yeah, I think that maybe if they just touched up the game a little bit, maybe made the scope of the game a little bit smaller, this game would have been a bit more fun to play. Because right now, this is not a fun game to play. This is a stinker. It's like when a family member, like an uncle or something, tries to be nice and gifts you a game for Christmas, but he doesn't know he doesn't know that only like, especially this was very common in the PS1 and PS2 era, because like back then Sony didn't really care too much. You can make like really shitty games and you can like sell the discs for them. Like nowadays, you won't see like super super shitty games. It's like so bad unless you're on Steam, playing those like random stuff. Steam is the exception, but like, what I'm trying to say is that in the old days, yeah, like a family member would get you a game as a gift, and they didn't know that only some games are good. Like, like, in my days we had like Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter, Sly Cooper. Those were like some really fun games. I used to like playing Legacy of Kain, a whole bunch of games, and then they would like gift you a game, and it'd be some like random like shovelware, and this game is, well, because that's how Steam is. It's just very like the regulations are very very narrow, which is not a bad thing because it encourages indie developers to make games, and but unfortunately I guess there has to be a balance too, and yeah, this game, it's like the shovelware you'd see in the old days. It's just a stinker. It's a really shitty game, and I don't really know what else to say about it. It's just, you shouldn't waste your money on this game. I'm following through the map. It's glitchy. The gameplay is just not fun. The plot is really bad. Everything is bad. The voice acting is bad. The menus have spelling mistakes. It is shitty. Don't waste your money on this. Thank God for the Steam refund policy, because now I can go buy myself a pizza, which I can shit out, and it'd be worth more than this. Well, I shouldn't be so offensive, but this game is just not good. Like, I like to, and it's one of the things that keeps me from just, like, buying, browsing Steam and buying stuff, because, they'll always try to present it in a nice way, and then when you actually play it, it's like, it's just shitty. Okay, well, enough of that. If you enjoyed watching the content in this video, please consider giving us a like. Also, please consider subscribing to our channel so that you can be the first to receive all of our latest content.